Good morning, everyone. Before we start our lesson discussion, let me introduce myself to you. I am Rostichay Redoble Lumbo from BPED 2. And this very moment, we tackled about formulating my philosophy of education. So, why do we need to formulate our philosophy of education? So, we need to formulate our philosophy of education because it helps us to clarify our beliefs about teaching and learning, and it provides a framework for understanding the purpose of education and its impact on the student. So, according to Socrates, the unexamined life is not worth living. So what does Socrates mean? Socrates means that a life without self-reflection, introspection, and critical thinking is meaningless and lack of value. So it emphasizes the importance of questioning one's action, beliefs, and purpose in life. So uh, you as a teacher or you as a future teacher. So your philosophy of education is your window to the world and compass in life. So it means that your educational beliefs shape how you perceive and engage in the world. It emphasizes the importance of a reflective approach to education are as a fundamental elements in shaping one's life journey. So, you as a teacher, your philosophy of education is reflected in your dealings with students, colleagues, parents, and administrators. You as a teacher, your attitude towards problems and life has underlying philosophy. So, if you articulate your philosophy of education, you will find yourself more consistent in your dealings with other people and your action and decision. So, as a teacher, you have a tremendous power because you can make a difference in life of the student. And also, your philosophy of education must fill out very clearly what you do and how you should teach, how you should relate to your students. So, what does a philosophy of education contain or include? It includes your concept about the human person, the learner in particular, and the educated person. What is true and good and therefore must be taught. How a learner must be taught in order to come close to the truth. So, here are some example of teacher Macrina's philosophy. So my philosophy as a grade school teacher. So I believe that every child has a natural interest in learning and is capable of learning. Every child is embodied spirit, and every child can be influenced but not totally by his or her environment. Every child is unique, so comparing a child to other children has no basis. And every child does not have an empty mind, rather is full of ideas, and it is my task to draw out these ideas. So, Teacher Macrinas believes that every child is naturally curious and capable of learning, that education should consider the whole person and that while a child's abilities. And Teacher Macrinas emphasized that each child is unique and should not compare to others, and sees her role as children express and develop their own ideas. Teacher Macrina's philosophy focuses on nurturing each individual's strength and interest. And that's all my part, and my co-reporter will be continued to discuss the example of Teacher Macrina's philosophy.
Good day, everyone. Before I'm going to proceed to my task report, let me introduce myself first. I am Leonie A. Janogin, a second-year student from Bachelor of Physical Education. I believe that there are unchanging values in changing times, and this must be passed on to every child by modeling value inculcation and value integration in my lesson. So, when we say unchanging values, It refers to the enduring principles and moral standards that guide educators' actions, decisions, and interaction with students, colleagues, and the community. When we say modeling, as a role model, you demonstrate values through your actions, behavior, and attitude. Children learn by observing and imitating, so as a future educator, it is important to us to show respect, empathy, and kindness to the students. When we say value inculcation, this involves intentionally teaching and promoting specific values through explicit instruction, storytelling, and discussions. When we see also value integration, it is incorporating values into various aspects of your lessons, making them an integral part of the learning experiences. We all know that time is changing, even our economy is developing, even technology is evolving, and so does in education. However, in these changing times, there were unchanged values of each individual, and that is the pursuit of knowledge. And as a future educator, it is our duty to help every child in the class. So when we say less of the children, these are the children with disabilities, children from marginalized communities, children affected by poverty or homelessness, children with refugee or migrant status, and children experiencing trauma or abuse. So in other words, we must reach out to all students without unfair treatment. Next, we have making every child feel good and confident about him or herself through his or her experiences of success in the classroom. To achieve this, we must give authentic comments, commendation, and feedback. So, next we have helping every child master the basic skills of reading, communicating in oral and written form, arithmetic, and computer skills. We can achieve this by properly teaching and guiding our student. Last, we have teaching my subject matter with mastery so that every child will use his or her basic skills to continue acquiring knowledge, skills, and values for him or her to go beyond basic literacy and basic numeracy. We must be mindful that we cannot teach what we don't have. That is why, to properly teach students, we need to master our subject matter when teaching, and it can be achieved through practice and reading.
Before I'm going to start my assigned topic, let me introduce first myself. I am Janeline Gondola from BPED 2. So now, inculcating or integrating the unchanging values of respect, honesty, love, and care for others, regardless of race, ethnicity, nationality, appearance, and economic status in my lessons. So this means that teaching students to treat everyone equally and with kindness. That no matter their background or differences, or no matter who they are or what they are, we should respect them and we should teach them those values that they have, like respect, honesty, love, and care for others, regardless especially their race, ethnicity, nationality, appearance, and economic status. So, the second one is consistently practicing these values to serve as model for every child. So, it is important for teachers to demonstrate respect, honesty, love, and care through their own actions. Consistently practicing these values to serve as model for every child. So, it's important for teachers to demonstrate respect, honesty, love, and care through their actions. By doing good example, students learn these values by observing their teachers. So example, If a student make a mistake, the teacher responds there calmly and kindly. So, showing care and understanding rather than frustration. So, if there is a disagreement among students, the teacher show how to resolve the conflict and respectfully. And the third one is strengthening practicing these values to serve as model for every child through hand-on, minds-on experiences inside and outside the classroom. These statements means actively reinforcing the practice of respect, love, honesty, care, and by engaging children in practicing meaningful activities that involve both thinking and doing. So example, if the teacher teaching about respect, you might organize a class project. So example, this is that the students will work together to clean up the local park. So through this activity, allow students to think the importance of caring for their environment. So that's what we call minds on. And while taking actions to make their positive impact. So this way, students experience how respect and care for the community. So the last one is providing every child activities meant to develop the body, mind, and the spirit. This means that it's important to provide activities that help students to grow in all aspects, especially in these aspects physically, mentally, and spiritually or emotionally. So, for example, include in physical exercises to promote physical well-being. So, of course, by engaging the children in any kinds of sports, they will improve their condition, especially their health. And the second one is they might be think creative problem-solving activities to develop the mind and mindfulness of reflection sessions to foster emotional and spiritual growth, like having a few minutes for gratitude, journaling of thoughtful discussion about values. My philosophy as a high school teacher. So in Macrina, teacher Macrina rather, I teach for the majority of the class rather than teach for handful top students. It is more effective and productive way of teaching, that focusing on lessons that engage and benefit all students. Just ones who grasp concept quickly also. But the goal is to make sure that everyone is learned. Not just a select few or not just only the top students will be learned, but everyone. I teach with interactions between teachers and students and also between students themselves. So interaction is the only tangible way of making the class intimate, open, creative, and challenging. So this emphasizes the importance of creating a lively, connected classroom environment. So where everyone actively participates. So it's about using conversation and group work to make lessons more engaging and meaningful. Example, during a science lesson, instead of just lecturing, the teacher asks students questions, encourage them to share their ideas, and let them work in groups to come up with solutions to a problem. So this way, students feel more involved and more likely contribute creative ideas while feeling comfortable and challenged. That in summary, it is important that you make explicit your philosophy of education. Your philosophy of education is your window to the world and compass in life. So, your philosophy is your own thought and formulation, never formulated for you by another. That is why you were advised to begin stating it with phrase I believe. It is best to state it in the concrete, not in the abstract, like a theory, because this is your blueprint to daily life. So, your philosophy of education is a personal statement that guides your teaching, that it reflects your beliefs about how students learn best and what teaching should achieve. So that's all my part. Thank you.